All right, here we go. Deal number 2 on 23 properties that I purchased through creative financing. Deal number 2, 1916 Bernard. Was not the best area of Bakersfield. Very nice property. But I want to go back. I want to go back on the first deal that I talked about, 1910 2nd Street, and now 1916 Bernard. And I think a lot of these investors that are teaching sub 2 and seller financing don't really go in depth on this, but I want to touch base on it. Some of your best deals that you come across are going to be somebody's negative. So what I mean by that is the first deal I ever did, the reason why the guy was just willing to just give me the property and walk away from it is because he just lost his son. I'm not going to go into depth on how his son died, but basically he was in another world, another realm. If you can imagine, losing a child is probably one of the worst things that could ever happen to you. And he lost his son, and basically he was just willing to just walk away from everything in his life, including his piece of real estate that he was making a payment on that he no longer cared about. That's how I got that deal. I knew him from playing poker, but the reason why I was able to get that deal is because I was just there at the right time and was able just to take over the property, and that's the reason why he walked away from that property. That's just it. Sometimes someone's negative is going to be your positive. That's just the way it is in this industry, and you got to be okay with that, because most of your best deals are going to be because someone's going through something. And I don't think a lot of people understand that when it comes to real estate investing. It's usually because people are going through a negative, and that's some of your best transactions. Now, if you're okay with that, depending on how you look at it, that's where the money's at. That's how you're going to make money in this game. Second deal, 1916 Bernard Street. The reason why I got that deal, same thing, it was a death. Someone drowned. This house didn't have a pool, but the house where the owner lived at had a pool, and I guess someone drowned there. Grandchild, something like that. Again, they were willing to walk away from the property. They didn't want to have nothing to do with it because they were just going through drama in their life and just didn't want to deal with it any longer. I believe this one, they had a tenant in there that was kind of a shady tenant, kind of not paying rent, not taking care of the property. It was all kinds of just drama. The property just was something they didn't want to deal with any longer. And then obviously the death didn't help. It caused a lot more, stress in that life. So back to the deal. I got the deal, 1916 Bernard. I want to say it was under 100,000 again. This is before the market started jumping up, 2015. So payment on this one, I believe, was like $700 a month, $800 a month again. Bank of America just took it over sub 2. Same thing, started making payments directly to B of A. I was walking it in, no questions from the teller. I don't know why I kept saying cashier in the last video. I was thinking like casino or something. I don't know why. But anyways, the teller was taking payments. So now I'm making 2 payments. I had the first one. I was making the first payment at, Chase Bank, directly to the teller. Now B of A, making payments directly. Took it sub 2. I actually put a tenant in there right away. Same thing, 10,000 down. I was like, man, 10,000 must be the number because everybody just has $10,000 to get into these. Funny thing is, the guy that's in this property, or that was in this property at that time, is actually still a tenant of mine today. He's actually jumped 3 properties of mine. So he went from this property. I bought another property, which I'll get into later in here, that he was a tenant in that one. And then I bought another property, which is also, actually it's not in here. I actually still own it because he's still my tenant. He's in that property right now. He's jumped 3 times. And they're all better properties, which is funny. It's like we worked out deals throughout the time over the 10 years to where they're better properties for him and me, and he's jumped each one. So anyways, I got this one, picked it up. I sold it to him, but he ended up moving to the second property. And then I sold it again to somebody else. Let's see, this one was 20,000 down on the second one. So I put 20,000 down on the second one, or I'm sorry, as the lease optioner put 20,000 down for the second one. They ended up defaulting. They were there for quite some time too. I would say at least 3 years, but ended up defaulting after the 20,000 down. And then I just sold it outright. I think on that one, I think I cleared about 30 to 40,000. It wasn't a big home run, but over the time frames of collecting the lease option down payments and then selling it finally for 30, 40,000 was pretty nice, right? Made another 50, 60,000 off of $800 a month investment that I really didn't have nothing to do. The third time when I did sell it and made the 30,000 to 40,000, I did put some money into it. I painted it, put new floors, things like that. Everything under 5,000 to 6,000. Throughout this time frame, I've always had people that helped me work, so guys that were doing painting and doing stuff like that. So I just kind of lightly remodeled it and sold it. The funny thing is too, a lot of these guys that do move into these properties, the lease option tenants or my rent to own tenants, they actually do improve the property a lot of the times. They'll put new stuff inside, new toilets, new showers, new countertops, new cabinets. I've had people do like a whole house a couple times. This one, I think he did put new cabinets in that one because he was planning on living there for a while, but he ended up jumping to the second one, so he didn't care about it any longer once I showed him where it was located and whatnot, and I'll show you guys that one in later videos. Anyways, second deal, made about 50,000 to 60,000. Not bad, right? Second deal. And this was probably within a short period of time. I would say it was in the first year of me selling the first one. But I just wanted to touch base on that because I don't think a lot of these investors tell you the truth about how you're getting these sub 2 deals. Most of the time it's a big negative thing. It's somebody's divorce, somebody's death. Sometimes they're just on drugs. It's all three sometimes. It's a whole deal of everything. But a lot of your transactions, your best transactions, are going to be somebody's negative, and that's how you're going to get them. I would say at least 80% of my deals were probably someone's divorce. I haven't come across a lot of deaths, but divorce is probably like number one, I would say, for the best transactions that I've ever came across. So if you're okay with that, you're on your way. Just go out there and make some money. You'll be able to find deals easily and make quite a bit of money. So anyways, video number 2 down. I'll go to the next one. Stay continued. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'm interested on what other people are doing in other states. I'm in California, by the way. I'm pretty sure I said that. I'm not sure, but I'm in California, and this is where all my deals are done. In my town, I have never ventured out, out of my county, almost, but never did. The deal ended up not going through. But yeah, everything's been in my county, Kern County. So always hustling, couch hustling.